what would you say are some of the top benefits and perks for working on a cruise line from your experience? And then what are some of the problems that people have? And you see people, the issues people have when they work on a cruise line, like kind of preparing them for, this is what's going to happen. Sometimes this is a big problem. This is actually the big perks and everything. So
Sure.
what's your picture there?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is that it's a job that effectively pays you to travel the world. I mean, you get to see countries. I personally seen places that I know I'll probably never get back to see again, and places that you can only get to by a cruise ship, and you just wouldn't go there on your sort of regular vacation. So that's a major perk. I mean, I've just seen so many places. It's unbelievable that I can never see with any other job. Um, the other thing as well is that you can earn decent money. Um, Unfortunately, if you're in the US, you're taxed on your salary. But if you're outside the US, the UK, Europe, Australia, you're paid tax free.
No
They
way.
actually it's actually you have to declare your income to your local government or whatever, but you don't have to pay tax on your earnings.
Huh.
Um, so you meet so many different people. I mean, I have friends from all over, from every part of the world. From the US, Canada, South America, places I've never even heard of. I've got friends there now. And that really is that was not the perk that I originally sort of envisioned when I first went out there, but that ended up becoming the main perk. It was just this is you could be sitting in the crew bar, you sat in a circle having a few drinks, and there's 10 people, and every single person's from a different part of the world,
Oh
and you're all
yeah.
just getting on like a house on fire. And that really does make the job just amazing and so unique to anything else.
Oh, I love that about when you and that's a big push when it comes to getting travel jobs. It's not about a lot of the times it's not about your job. It's about the people you're working with. So
Absolutely, yeah.
it's
That it's an amazing environment in that sense. The other thing as well is you're working in a completely unique environment. You're working in sort of a five-star environment, and having that kind of on your resume, that work experience that you've worked on a cruise ship, that will do wonders for your career. When I came back, I mean, that it was always a great when I was applying for jobs when I came back on land. That was a great talking point in interviews, and it gave me so much confidence and so many more skills that I wouldn't have had. So that's another big perk. And I'd probably say they're the main perks, and just the
mm.
chance to get away, just to get away from home. If you're stuck in a rut and like I was, and you just had enough, you're sick of seeing the same faces, the same places, and it's just a great way just to get away from everything and kind of start over again and
Oh,
save some money as well. Everything's
it's
paid for on board, so
that's perfect. I didn't they pay for your food and everything too? They
everything's paid for. Your
oh
food's paid for. Your board's just a part of the job. Your cabin mate. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're not you're not in some luxury hotel room. You're sharing a bunk bed with another person, but your room and board's covered,
oh
and
yeah.
it does the job.
You know the one thing I really like when you're talking about this, and it really brings me back to a few one-on-ones we did, Jimmy and John did a few months ago with some of the members in the Money for Traveling site, is we talked to a few people, and maybe some people that are listening right now. It was really clear that where they were living, it was kind of the same situation you were in. It was very clear, and they even verbally said it was, you know what, I just need to find something that will get me out of here, like some
That's
type of
it.
way
Yeah,
just to get me to break this bond that's holding me here. What type of job can I get? What can I use in that? And it's hearing this type of job, it really sounds like something that is is easy to, especially if you follow the steps it looks like you have here, it's just really easy to get yourself over somewhere else, traveling for
yeah,
free, getting paid while doing it. And it's a real great way to jump into that.
yeah.
And so I remember this one interview with this guy, and he just couldn't stand looking at the cornfields in Kansas anymore. And I'm just, yeah, this is a great way to just switch it up and, start moving in the right
Yeah.
direction. So,
Oh, it can change your life. And another thing I'll add to that, I mean, I've had so many friends that have met partners on board, from different parts of the world, and they've gone to work on a cruise ship for 6 months. They've ended
yeah.
up meeting a girl who, they're from the UK, and they meet a girl from Australia or from the US or from Canada or wherever, and they end up wanting to stay with that person, so they end up doing contracts together. And obviously there comes a time when they want to settle back down on land, and they end up. One of my best friends is now living in the US with his wife. He's from the UK. With his wife, he's now married to her. They've got 3 kids. He lives in the US. He was from the UK. I mean, never in a million years did he imagine that he would be living in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, in the US, married with 3 kids too, just from a 6-month contract on board. I mean, it can have that much of an impact on your life.